This is like the military. Okay, please pardon us for the delay. There's been a technical glitch on some people, some commissioners that had to be on the road and unforeseen circumstances, so apologize for that. I'd also like to know, to let gallery know that we have a translator in the back. So in the event that you want to speak in another language, you can ask her to translate for you. And she's our translator for the county, okay? And again, I apologize for the inconvenience of waiting here, all right? On case number Z24-004, it was requested that we had at least 20%. Go ahead.
Chair, just real quick, we should probably just go through the agenda and then maybe address that issue on item number 2.
All right, we'll just start with item number 1, okay?
Mr. Chair, can we go ahead and call the meeting to order?
What's that?
Call it to order.
Sure. Okay, welcome everybody to April 25th, 2024, to the Commission Chambers. Item number 1, roll call of officers, please.
Commissioner Underwood, Commissioner Montañez,
Present.
Commissioner Lear,
Here.
Commissioner Jimenez, Commissioner Zarges,
Here.
Vice Chair Zerniak, Chair Acosta.
Present. Okay, item number 2, approval or changes to the agenda, Commissioners?
Chair, on item number 4A, that's a zone change request that got a lot of opposition. Because of that, it triggers a 2/3 vote from the Planning and Zoning Commission, meaning that we need at least 5 P&D members to be present. With only 4 members here, we, who?
Mr. Chair, I would move to move case number Z24-005 ahead of Z24-004 to give time for Commissioner Jimenez.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Does everybody understand the motion?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Montañez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lear,
Yes.
Commissioner Zarges,
Yes. Chair
Acosta.
Yes. All right, Albert,
And Chair, so that item will be heard on May 9th.
No, my motion was simply to move case 005 ahead and then hear case 004.
Okay.
Following that.
I'll move the agendas.
all right, Albert, can you come up forward and explain case number Z24-004 at the request of the petitioner?
So Chair, so right now it's my understanding that that case got basically put as the second item on the agenda. With 5 members present, you know, if Commissioner Jimenez joins us online, that means that the applicant would need everybody to vote in the positive for him to get approval, you know. So let me just confirm with the applicant and to see if he wants to move forward with that, or if he wants to, you know, possibly postpone one more time for May 9th and hopefully have a full commission present. So just give me a second.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, the chair entertains a motion to postpone case number Z24-004.
I'll make the motion.
Do I hear a second on the motion? All right, we have a motion on the floor and second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chair, we should just hear the decision of the applicant. I do believe that with, if the case is postpone to May 9th. We're going to have we'll have some new commissioners here, and we should have the required attendance to roll on that one.
So commissioners, after talking with the applicant, he wishes to move forward.
He does
He
wish
wants
to move forward?
He wants to be heard today.
Okay, so we need to have him come up and make sure that he's on the record, that he petitions for us to go forward with the case. Is that correct? All right. Mr. Vasquez, right? Okay, we're going to swear you in. All right.
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Jesus Vasquez, 4825 High Hopes Road.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. And only because we have to have a court of record that you did agree that we would proceed with your case as we go forward, right? Okay. You can go ahead and sit down now.
Thank you.
Albert, you ready for this case? Okay, come on forward.
You guys still have a minute.
We have to vote.
No, we still got to approve the agenda in the minutes, right? I'll move the agenda, I'll move approval of the agenda as amended.
Mr. Chair, point of order. There is still a motion and a second to postpone case Z24-004, so somebody would need to either withdraw that motion or we just hold the vote.
We have a motion on the floor. Been second?
Which,
I believe it was second.
Yeah, it was seconded.
they already did it.
All right, and everybody understands the motion, right? Okay. Roll call, please. On case number, to proceed forward, Z24-004.
Mr. Chair, I just want to clarify, the motion was to postpone the case. So we're voting to postpone item number 5, case Z24005. And we do have the applicant on record stating that he does not want to. 004, sorry, it's item number 4. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, probably the easiest way would be for Commissioner Lear to withdraw his motion.
All right, okay, withdraw the motion, that's right. Okay,
Okay, Mr. Chair, I withdraw the motion I made earlier.
all right.
Thank you.
And then I believe the motion on the floor is still that case Z24004 will be heard after item 5A, correct?
And that was voted already in the affirmative.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
So we have to have a vote on that, right?
Oh, we're good.
All right, okay. All right,
And for the record, Commissioner Jimenez has joined us at 9:35.
all right. Albert?
On item number 5, okay?
Do we need to approve the minutes first?
Mr. Chair, I believe you still need to do item 3, approval of the minutes.
I'll move approval of the minutes of the April 11th, 2024 meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion on the floor, it's second. Does everyone understand the motion? Any discussion on the motion? No? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Montañez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lear,
Yes.
Commissioner Zarges,
Yes?
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
Chair Acosta.
Yes. All right. Are you ready, Albert?
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Albert Casillas, 845 North Motel Boulevard.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
regarding case Z24-005, I personally must disclose to this commission that about 1 month prior to this meeting, I was actually invited on site by the applicants to visit the site and just kind of view the product. Present with me also was our county manager, Fernando Macias, and Mayor of Las Cruces is also present. It's pretty much just a demonstration. It's pretty much an open house type of invite, but I do feel it necessary to disclose. If anybody on this commission feels that I am not, if anybody on this commission feels any reason for me to recuse myself, I will do so.
Thank you for the disclosure. I personally don't feel that you should recuse yourself. There's been no money exchanged of hands, is that correct?
No, not at all.
All right, and so we're all members of the community, and so we all know each other. We have to recuse in every case. We know a lot of people in the gallery already.
Understood. But we do feel, I did feel the need to disclose.
The most important thing, that there's no money has been exchanged in hands.
Understood.
So we clear that out.
Thank you.
I feel that you should remain, and we can put it out for the vote. Commissioners, is that okay if Commissioner remains here to understand what goes on, right? Okay,
Thank you.
Good.
all right. Do we have to put that for a vote, Janine? No? All right, proceed.
Morning, Commissioners. So our first case today is going to be a zone change. Property owner is Virginia Knight, and they're being represented by Libin Underwood Engineering and Surveying. This property is located in Fort Selden, New Mexico, / Radium Springs. It's on Mirador Drive, 705. The current zoning is a T3 neighborhood edge zone. And it's a proposed zone change on a proposed 4.24 acres. The property is a little bit more than 5 acres, and they're also seeking to split up the property. Through that split, what's going to get the zone change? It's going to be 4.24 acres. But they're basically, they're going to go from T3 to a C3, which would be regional commercial zoning district. And this is to allow facilities for light manufacturing and showcasing of model homes for live BFF and facilities of a nationwide plumbing company, which is Better Future Facilities, Inc. Here's a location map, just so we can all know where the subject parcel's at. This is the exit there at Fort Selden. This is a Frodo Place right here, and then Mirador Drive. So this would be the exit, and you kind of just meander your way through the roads till you get to the property. And I'll show you guys some pictures in a bit. And this is just a 2023 aerial photo of what the property looks like. So through that property split, they're basically, carving out a parcel here that's going to separate the existing homes and basically just leave the rest of the property for the proposed use. And here is a zoning map of what the area looks like. So this would be the subject parcel, T3 being surrounded by some T2 zoning designations. And pretty much, everything around there is either T3 or T2. So prior to the adoption of the UDC, this property was zoned a performance district, and it wasn't until 2016 where the property received a T3 designation from that performance district. So what is T3? I mean, currently it permits low-density single-family residential dwelling areas with some mix of uses, home occupations, and outbuildings. The property currently does have a residential assessment. There is a mobile home on the property. Water is available from Doña Mutual Domestic, and wastewater will be handled by an approved septic tank. Mirador Drive, adjacent to this parcel, is county maintained, but it's only a graded road. And then just a little bit of a history of why we're here today. Back in December of last year, there was a complaint that was received regarding semi and cement trucks going in and out of Mirador Drive. and buildings being constructed. So after that, codes and building inspectors went out to the property and citations were issued. And almost right immediately, we got together with the property owner and their representative to discuss zoning and permitting issues and how to move forward with the proposal. The applicant did agree to stop operations on site, and then the zone change and the summary subdivision application were submitted on February 28th of 2024, and now we're here today. So the zone change is just going to be on the proposed 4.24 acres to C3. So the applicant, on his narrative, they're stating that construction of the modular and panelized homes will require erection on site. The business is planned for this parcel will not generate large amounts of traffic. Employment is planned due to growth of the company, which is a result of the demand for housing. Many of the components will be assembled on site, but due to the efficiency of the modular design, transportation of the components of the homes will be efficiently transported. Unlike mobile or manufactured homes, modular panelized structures, mostly homes, can be transported on smaller trucks, or several can be transported on one tractor trailer. So that's coming from the applicant's narrative. Here's a site plan which is included in your packet, but just so we can orient ourselves, Meadow Drive is basically over here. This is the main entrance to the facility. This is going to be the area where they're going to be displaying the modular homes. And as you drive further down into the property, you'll have parking areas for employees and storage. And then you'll have the main warehouse or shop here, as well as another metal shop on the rear. And then these are two of the mobile homes that are on site. And that's just another structure on the property. But this is basically what the proposed layout looks like for what's being requested today. And then I just added on here the proposed split. So basically, they're cutting out 3/4 of an acre for the residential units, and then leaving the rest for the proposed facility. This property here, the 4.2 acres, will be the ones to get the C3 designation if approved. That's just an aerial of around the community of Fort Sheldon. And the following slides are just going to be pictures of what's out there. This is a Meador Drive. I'm basically standing here looking west at the intersection of Meador and Frodo. You can kind of see the facility already here to the left. I'm looking south on Frodo Place. This is basically how you get to Fort Sheldon Road. And this is looking back east on Meador Drive from that intersection, and then looking north on Frodo Place. If I drive down the road, heading west on Meador, looking back into the facility, it is a county-maintained road, but it's just graded right now. I think Doña Mutual Water went out there, and they actually did add additional water lines and fire hydrants nearby. That's just a picture of that. And then when you're there at the entrance, this is what their driveway looks like. And as you walk into the subject parcel, you can see that they've already made out their driveway. That's the display area right here, where the modular homes are sitting. And then this is basically the staging / display area of what they're going to be constructing out there. So you have a couple of examples. This one here is just to show how the modular homes are being made, what the components are, and then you just have the other examples that they have here. So there's that first one. And this is kind of like a finalized product. This is another one of the modular homes that they have out there as an example. And you can tell that they're equipped, there's a sink, fridge, dishwasher. And it's just another view from the other side. As you move forward towards the rear of the property, you can see that there's, currently there's a couple of items that are being stored on site. This would be the parking area for employees. You can see that there's additional materials being stored, and this is basically where the main shop's going to be located. This is just another view of the subject parcel. And then when we look at the surrounding area, along Mirador, there's a couple of mobile homes out there. This is right across from their driveway. So when looking at zone changes, these are the items that we have to look at for decisional criteria. Those were the properties that were notified. 14 letters were sent out. There was one email or letter in opposition, and that's included in your packet. So when looking at section 203D1, potential number of homes, if applicable, the applicant's not proposing any new residential development on site. This facility is for the manufacturing of modular homes, not for physical homes on the property. Population, it's not applicable because it's a commercial use. They're not adding demographics, so there's no impact to demographics. Traffic flows and impacts, there's no evidence submitted that would suggest low impact to traffic flows. Transportation of modular homes will be through the use of small trucks or tractor trailers for several homes at once. The main access to the property is from Mirador Drive, which is a graded county maintained road right away, as we saw on the pictures. So it will have to be improved to UDC standards, which would include paving if it is approved. The zone change will allow the applicant to operate a manufacturing facility. The applicant, on their narrative, they're citing economic benefits, education and awareness, environmental sustainability, and revitalization of the local economy as being beneficial to the community and the local economy. Water is available from Doña Mutual Domestic. Wastewater will be handled by an approved septic tank. Existing infrastructure, technically, there is sufficient infrastructure. We already know that, engineering through their agency review, they're requesting road improvements. We saw that there's fire hydrants out there. However, we're not sure if they're meeting the fire suppression requirements. No evidence submitted that there are endangered or rare species of animal and plant life in the area. The property is surrounded by residential development. We saw that on the aerials and on the pictures. Zoning designations within the area of notification include a T2 and a T3 zone. Introducing a manufacturing use with truck traffic and noise will have severe impacts on the residential area. And applicant has stated that that if they are approved, they're going to try and follow best management practices that are identified, noted, and included in the reviews and conditions required for the zone change and during the building permitting application. So there might be some items that are being met under the decisional criteria, but the main one, impacts to surrounding areas. That's not. Staff believes that's not being met. So we don't believe that this request will meet Section 203D1. We also have to look at the comprehensive plan. Staff believes that the proposed development is in conflict with the comp plan. The proposed zone change to a C3 regional commercial zone does not complement surrounding residential uses and goals such as Goal G 2.2 and Action 2.2. So on the narrative, the applicant believes that their request meets the livability principles that are stated on the comp plan, such as economic opportunity and community affordability. Strategy 2, which talks about economic opportunity and also supporting regional small-scale businesses. And like I said it before, we're looking at this as a light manufacturing use being proposed within a residential area. So we don't believe that it meets goal G 2.2, which talks about safeguarding and extending desirable neighborhood character, preserving existing neighborhoods' character by tailoring the zones to match it. Under D5 for the Miller criteria, which basically deals with the change of conditions. There isn't, staff believes that there is no evidence of a change of conditions, making the zone change reasonably necessary to protect the public interest. There might be some fire hydrants, that have been, located nearby, but there is no evidence that they meet the required fire flow for the proposed businesses. And then also, the applicant stating, that there's economic growth across Doña County, and that's basically what's creating the changing conditions. Spot zoning, so we do consider this a spot zone. The proposed zone change to a C3, it's not going to be in harmony with surrounding residential areas of the subject property. The property size will be 4.2 acres. And we believe that it's not going to be a benefit to the community by allowing a manufacturing facility for modular homes in a residential area. So with that, our findings are included in your packet. We don't believe it meets the decision criteria. We don't believe that there is a change of conditions, and that it is a spot zone, and that it will be in conflict with the comprehensive plan. So we are recommending denial of case Z24-005 for a zone change on the proposed 4.24 acres from a T3 to a C3. That's the end of our presentation. So we do stand for questions. Staff is present, as well as the property owner as well. And I believe we do have Sean Vick here with Building Services too. So,
Does that conclude your presentation?
yes, sir.
Or any questions of staff,
Mr. Chair,
commissioners?
would C3 have really been the only option to be able to operate what they're proposing out there?
No, Chair, that is correct. C3, I guess, would be the lightest category. I guess I could put it in those terms, that would allow for light manufacturing. The other options would be I1, I2, or I3.
The reason I ask, I feel like C3 usually is meant for, usually would be used for something that's going to generate more traffic. And it does seem like, this is definitely going to generate more traffic than that, than that area is used to. But I just wanted to see if there was another zoning option other than C3, and it's confirming there's more than likely not.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all, Mr.
Any further questions of staff, commissioners? Thank you, Albert. Is Virginia Knight here, or the representative for Virginia Knight?
We do have the applicant's engineer.
Okay, we're going to ask you to be sworn in.
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Zachary Libben. Zachary Libben,
Can you state your address, please?
1121 Birch Drive.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just go through there. That's great.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Again, my name is Zach Libben, here with Dr. Knight and as the landowner, and Justin Armendariz as the leasee with the business on the property. As noted, the request is for a C3 zoning to accommodate light manufacturing, I think, along with the model homes. I think it's prudent to allow Justin Armendariz to explain his vision and why this is a good place in his mind for this light manufacturing and the model homes. These businesses have been operating here at this location successfully, hopefully without much bother to the neighbors. So noting that some of the structures and the improvements were constructed unpermitted, this is the first step to correcting those deficiencies, which is why the request has come before you today to try and rectify that. Again, we stand here for any questions, and I think it's a good idea to allow Justin to offer his vision for the property.
Any questions, commissioners? I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You as a professional engineer, right?
Yes,
How
sir.
long have you been involved in this case?
Since about December.
So the majority of the buildings and everything that was there was already established before you got in there or not?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you ever know any of the rules and regulations regarding construction, roads, meeting minimum road requirements and the safety and general welfare of the public around it?
Yes, sir. I am, as an engineer, I'm very familiar with those standards and the UDC and the rules and regulations. Similar to Commissioner Montañez, at the open house, we had a discussion that there were some issues that needed to be resolved with permitting, and I offered to help try and rectify the deficiencies. And as Mr. Casillas noted, we had a pre-application meeting just as soon as possible and came forward with the zoning application as the first step to then move forward and rectify any other deficiencies.
So technically, you tried to get everything into compliance after you got involved with the case, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's the goal.
All right. Any further questions of, no? Okay, thank you.
No, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead. Can you hear me? No questions?
Yes, sir. I was just confirming. No further questions.
All right, thank you. Sean, would you please step forward?
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sean Vick, 845 North Motel Boulevard.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Chair, Commissioners.
How did you, well, there were some citations issued, right?
We issued a stop work notice, sir, when we became aware of the project out there on the property.
And how did you come about
We received a,
getting involved in the case?
we received a complaint of cement trucks, like Albert had mentioned in his summary. And so we went out to investigate and saw that they had some modular homes in different stages of construction, basically showcasing their building capabilities, how it's to be built and such. We also noticed that the large area where they were doing manufacturing was shipping containers, 2 in a row, 2 stacked high with a cover on both sides. So David Murillo, my inspector, issued a stop work notice. We took some photos. Soon after that, Mr. Armendariz and his team came in, contacted me right away, had the pre-application meeting, and at that point, they ceased operation, trying to come into compliance. Shortly after that, I met with Martin Romero, Bureau Chief, the Electrical Bureau Chief, CID, and Plumbing Mechanical Bureau Chief, Tamara, with Mr. Armendariz and his team. He was up there with Martin, showing one of their panel walls, and how it's constructed, because it is a modular building, modular is regulated by the state of New Mexico because of in-house inspections, things like that. So that's something Mr. Armendariz is working on with the state of New Mexico. So at this point, he's trying to come into compliance, if the zone change was to go through, with the buildings, and then hopefully get things taken care of through CID on the modular aspect. If they were to build it as a modular, they could, in all aspects, still do it as a site built, go to the site, build it like normal construction, just with their materials, as opposed to wood.
And the other question I have is, all those commercial buildings there that appear to be commercial buildings, do they have building permits on that
No,
or
sir.
not? None of them have them.
No, sir.
So what is the outcome on that?
Well, since we did issue the stop work notice, they've ceased and desisted. But at this point, until the zone change goes through, it's not allowed by right, so they couldn't permit them. So they're basically just sitting there.
So how do you get them into compliance?
First of all, the zone change would have to go through to C3, and then at that time, they could apply for building permits. So it would be a spot zone that you would be allowing. Then at that time, they would permit those. I would work with Mr. Libin in regard to the permitting, the inspections, the requirements in that aspect.
Any questions of Sean? No questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners.
Okay,
Chair, Chair.
hold on. Anybody that's going to be for or against this case, you have to sign in? Did you sign in?
I'm with the representative.
Okay, all right. Can't hear very well. Anyway,
Sorry, sir.
okay.
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the
Justin Armendariz, P.O. Box 15125, Las Cruces.
record. Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Thank you.
I understand definitely the C3 title is needed to bring us into compliance here. We've been operating out there for 9 years, and I guess sometimes when you start a small business and you end up with large contracts, that things continue to grow. And we are aware that we are not in compliance now, and that is why we went and partnered with Lib and Underwood Engineering in order to bring everything into compliance and then reverse permit what we do have there. That is obviously upon approval of zone change. But really, we're talking about light manufacturing, and I feel like maybe the way that it was presented is not really in line with what we're doing. So mostly what's happening there is engineering and prototyping of different wall panels in that building. And there's not a lot of transport or anything else associated with what we're doing. So in the large building there, we have created about 6 different panel prototypes that are going to be patent pending. And the goal there is to be able to deploy housing to those in need at the lowest possible price point, the highest possible quality, and as fast as possible. So what would happen in the big facility there, we called it light manufacturing because of the C3, but effectively what we're doing in there is we're developing the system in order to prototype and build these houses rapidly on an assembly line. That would not happen there. The only thing that happens at that property is the development, the engineering, and the initial construction of a wall panel. We would then, as we have a housing project come up, we would actually build the manufacturing facility as what they call a pop-up factory at the location we were actually doing construction at. So we're not going to be producing homes in that building and then shipping them off. We're doing the engineering work required to produce these homes off-site. So I just wanted to make sure we were clear there. In the other building, the metal shop there to the left, that shop we've always used in support of our plumbing construction company. And what they do there is they fabricate different pieces of metal and different components for our customers, and then we ship them out. But it's not, the traffic's not going to change a lot more than it has been from 2015 to about August of 2023. It's been the same traffic for those 8 years or so. And when we did receive the complaint is when we were actually constructing those 4 prototype buildings where we did have a lot of traffic and manpower on site. But ultimately, we wanted to develop this technology here in Doña County because the county, has been a good partner to us over the years, and a great place to be an employer. And that's kind of really all I had about it. But we don't want to upset our neighbors or anything like that. We've been in a good relationship with most all of our neighbors out there. We've improved the roads and improved the land values over the years by the improvements that we've made there. And that's about all I had to say about that. And if the neighbors, they didn't want us there, then we don't want to be there, and that's fine. So I appreciate your guys' time, and if you have any questions, take them now.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of,
I guess. I guess your statement seemed to imply that you're doing engineering and prototyping work there. But the case that we're getting appears that you're actually manufacturing the things there and shipping them out. I would think that perhaps, as I was trying to dig out, if you're engineering and consulting, there would not be a reason for a zone change if that were the extent of the business. But with the manufacturing, no.
I'm not the professional, and I didn't read the zone change documents. And I did review our letter and sign it. And to my understanding, I thought it was the right path forward. The things that we are manufacturing there, the majority of it is a small metal disc that is cut on a plasma table and stamped on a very small press. And that is pretty much the extent of the manufacturing outside of some of the welding work we're doing in that shop, which are all small parts and pieces and things like that. But there's no manufacturing of homes at that location. Prototyping of wall panels, assembly, and then taking them back apart, testing, things of that nature, that's more of what the Live BFF Homes company is doing there. And the plumbing company has been there since 2015.
Okay, thank you.
any further questions? Thank you very much for your testimony.
Based on what you were saying, is there something that you think we should maybe apply differently now that you understood what I said more clearly?
I'm trying to find you a way to do this since you have stuff out there, and I'd hate to see this get denied and you lose it all. But
we appreciate your guys' support in that.
You're working with staff on it, and that's why I was asking those questions.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Anybody out in the gallery for this case?
Mr. Chair.
Anybody
Commissioners.
opposed?
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Just to clarify, what Mr. Armendariz just explained, what they are doing, by the building code book, that is considered manufacturing. Even though it's in small components and building component walls, it's still considered an F1 for manufacturing. Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
I have Susan Peterson.
We're going to swear you in.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Susan Peterson, 510 Meadow Drive in Radium.
And do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you. And you can pull the mic if you need to.
And your last name, please?
Any taller.
And your last name?
Peterson.
Peterson. Thank you.
Okay. I'm here to represent the residents of this area. No one was told about this meeting. I got a call last night, so nobody else was able to come. My complaint is all the traffic that we are already enduring. Brief history, there is a nursery north of us about 2 miles, and they built a road for all the semis that go to that nursery. It's called Desert Edge, and it's built for semi-trucks. Well, then our roads were all dirt roads. Well, they paved our roads for cars, but now all the semis go the shortcut up Frodo past Meter to the nursery. So we have all that traffic. We also have all the workers that work at this nursery. So every day we have the Indy 500 on Frodo. We've complained to the police, to sheriff, everyone about the speeding. It's 25 miles an hour because it's a residential area. What you didn't see in the pictures are all the residential people that live, the children, the animals, the livestock that is in that area. So we're not real happy about more traffic, and we're still working on the problem with the speeding and the semis that don't go on the proper road. So I just wanted to let you know that we're for small business, but this was done in an underhanded way, we think. And so we're not happy. Several of the neighbors that live on that road is a dirt road going to Mr. Amadada's place. When it rains, we don't have a lot of rain, but when it rains, that whole entire road floods. So that would need to be addressed as well. But I just wanted to let you know how the residents feel about this going in.
Okay, any questions of Ms. Peterson? None? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
There's no one further.
Anybody else?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm going to close it to the gallery. Commissioners, any discussion on this case? We're going to do an upzone from a T3 to a C3. Any discussion on that?
Mr. Chair, the way I understand a C3 is, the term I think it's used is home occupation, is about as close as you can get to a business in a C3.
Well, Albert, can you come back and on that zoning, show us a map on that zoning again one more time?
And Chair, just to clarify, it's the T3 that would allow the home occupation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, T3. And that, besides that, this is obviously more than just a home occupation. I mean, it's, as Sean said, I mean, it falls under the category of manufacturing. The other thing is that it seems like a pretty cut and dried case of spot zoning. I don't see anything that's even close to this in zoning within a half mile or greater around this. And it seems like at least to the south and east and a little bit to the northeast, there's quite a few residents in the area.
So what you're saying, Commissioner, is that it's basically in disharmony to the existing area, right?
Yes, it's, you know, one of the things we talk about is not only not creating a negative thing in a neighborhood, but also doing something to enhance the neighborhood. And I'm having a hard time seeing this change doing that.
Well, as commissioners, it's not just for the benefit of the owner of the parcel. It's actually it should be a benefit for the existing people that surround there. the question that is always comes up, and it's a rhetorical question, but when you do this kind of a upzone, as far as I'm concerned, and it's not in harmony with the existing, but the safety and general welfare of the public, that's why we're here, okay? We're here in the concerns not only of you, but of the people around you. And so if it involves the safety and general welfare of the public, it means roads, ingress and egress to your properties, being aware of what it takes to build anything in the county. And so we have to take all of these things into consideration. And so what we're going to do is we're going to vote, okay? So,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
just a question, probably for both Sean and for staff, for Albert as well. I mean, changing to a C3 zoning, especially in a T3 neighborhood, which is, you know, T3 and also a little bit of T2, wouldn't a TIA be required?
If it was to move forward, yes, sir.
So that would be required after the zone change, just for the building permit, or?
Correct, part of the building permit, possibly an STA on that
Thank you.
aspect. Yes, sir.
Thank you. But I'm sorry, so a TIA wouldn't have been required just for this, I mean, just to approve the zone change?
That is correct, it would not, sir.
Thank you.
And commissioners, let me remind you, we have basically a non-conforming road accessing this property. It's a dirt road, am I correct? How wide is that road?
50 feet maybe.
24, 30?
50. It's a little hard to read on there, Chair, but I believe it is at least 50 feet of right-of-way there. And then that's the existing conditions. And of course, if you go through your packet under agency comments, you're going to see that engineering, if this was to be approved, they were going to be requesting road improvements.
Thank you, Albert. Okay. Commissioners, any further questions, discussion? No? Okay, I entertain a motion for case number Z24005.
Based on the findings of fact and the work of staff, I'll move approval of case number Z24-005.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Does everybody understand the motion? Any discussion on the motion? No discussion? Okay. Ready? Roll call.
Commissioner Montañez,
No.
Commissioner Lear,
No.
Commissioner Jimenez,
No.
Commissioner Zarges,
No.
Chair Acosta.
No. Okay. Janine, do we have to give a response for the no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, we do.
Yes, please.
All right. We'll start with Commissioner Lear.
I voted no because I believe this is a clear case of spot zoning, and that is against our past practice and the
Okay. Commissioner Montañez?
Mr. Chair, I did try and find a alternative solution as far as existing zoning, but this is an extreme from T3 to C3. I'm also looking for a solution to not create a spot zone, unfortunately. Also, quite a bit of prior work being done prior to the application, and unfortunately that those are my reasons for a no vote.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zarkas?
I voted no because I believe it to be a spot zone. I think that the applicant could have done more research before he started with the work there. He was already in violation of things, and after the fact zoning is really a violation for all the other people in that area of the T2, T3.
Okay, and based on land use ordinance, I believe that the Commissioner Jimenez, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. But he was a yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I too voted no as a result of this being a clear violation of spot zoning and not in harmony with the UDC.
Okay, is that it? Yeah?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. And for myself, I believe that we're allowing the good probability of a spot zone. And not only that, it's not in harmony with what is existing there. And we also have to look at the safety and general welfare of the public around you. Those roads there have to be, there's levels of highway throughout the county, throughout the state. And so therefore, that it creates some sort of ambiguity regarding ingress and egress to your property, especially when you have these heavy road vehicles accessing your property. So that's my response to that. And you have the right to appeal to the Board of County Commissioners. And from there, you have other alternatives. So you concur with staff and see what they can help you out with. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. All right. Okay, the next case. How do you want us to proceed with that, Jenny?
With item 4A, Mr. Chair.
I couldn't hear you.
Item 4A.
Okay.
24004.
All right.
Will, can I get the item 4A PowerPoint? Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Albert Casillas, 845 North Motel Boulevard.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Before I start, does anybody need a break real quick, or we're all good? Okay, I'll proceed. Our second item today, it's going to be another zone change request. The applicant and the property owner is Jesus Vasquez. This property is located on 4990 Benavides Road. It's right off of Coronado Road, northeast of town. The existing zoning is a D2 medium-density residential zone. And this is going to be a zone change on the current parcel, which is a little bit more than an acre. They want to go from D2 to a D3 in order to allow for 3 duplexes on site. And I'm just going to mention real quick that under D2, the current zone already allows for either 2 homes or 1 duplex, but it can't be more than 2 dwellings. Because of that, he's going to a D3 designation in order to allow 3 duplexes or a total of 6 homes. This is the location map of the subject parcel. It's right on the corner of North Coronado Road, which is paved, and Benavides Road, which is it's a private road. Everything here in gray, that's basically city limits. So they're really close to city limits out there. But when we look at this is the subject parcel right now, which is the aerial showing it as vacant, but I'll show some pictures just so we can all see how the property looks like. But when we look at the zoning map, of course, we see the city limits, and then, of course, pretty much, the whole neighborhood out there, it's a D2 zone. There's some D1L zone, further up the road, but the majority of the surrounding areas it's a D2 zoning. Prior to the UDC, the property did have an ER4M zoning designation, which still allowed for single family site built and mobile homes in low densities. When the UDC got adopted, it went from ER4M to the D2. And like I said before, the D2 zone permits a mixture of single family site built homes, mobile homes, duplex residences, and related residential support uses. There is water from Moongate Water, and we do have also a letter from the city of Las Cruces for wastewater out here. Benavides Road, it is unimproved, private 25-foot right-of-way. Jornada Road is a paved 60-foot right-of-way county-maintained road. And of course, I already stated that the zone change is going to be from D2 to D3 to allow for 3 duplexes. Access will be from Benavides Road, which will have to be improved to UDC standards. On here and on your packet, there is a conceptual drawing of what the applicant's proposing. We have basically 3 driveways coming off of Benavides Road. No access from North Jornada Road, but these would be the 3 duplexes on the property. And just an aerial, of the surrounding areas. Pretty much everything out there, it's going to be residential uses. And then so when we're looking at the property here, I'm standing on Benavides Road, so I'm basically looking east onto the property. It's graded out there. There's some storage containers that the applicant has on the property, and some trucks that he uses. To move. I think they're rental trucks. And then there's some grading that's being done on site. And these are just some of the the containers that are still there. As noted on your agency comments, we do have a case for the containers being on site. So the applicant is working with codes on that. And just a picture of the existing conditions of Benavides Road. And that's basically the intersection there of Benavides and Jornada. Jornada Road looking south towards Highway 70. And then just some of the surrounding areas. This is a property that's north of the subject parcel. They are currently working on a subdivision as well to split up that property into 3 different lots. But this is north of Benavides Road. And then just right across the property, there's the mobile home, and of course you see the other dwelling units that are surrounding the property. When looking at zone change requirements, of course, we got to look at the decisional criteria under 203D. Those were the properties that were notified. You kind of see the red line, right? Kind of surrounding the property. There's a 300-foot buffer of those properties that were notified. There's one of the signs that was posted on the property. About 21 letters were sent out, and then on this one there were numerous letters, petitions that were received against the request, and those are included on your property. On your case analysis. But basically, when we look at this other section of the notification requirements for zone changes, we do have this item in here, that talks about, within 100 feet, if there's 20% or more of those landowners that are against the request, then that triggers a two-thirds vote. So 10 properties within 100 feet, 4 letters in opposition from those properties within 100 feet, and, you know, I've labeled those property owners that you can cross-reference with the notification list. So, you know, 4 out of the 10, that's 40%, which triggers the two-thirds votes. So for D1, applicants proposing 3 duplexes, 6 residential units, approximately 5 people per unit. Duplex rental will be available to any applicant over the age of 21. Traffic will be limited to 2 cars per dwelling, maximum of 12 cars. Benavides Road is a private unimproved road, and road improvements will be required. The zone change will allow the applicant to provide additional housing in the area. The applicant states that residential housing of this size will benefit the growing neighborhoods nearby and will be able to provide housing for 6 families. Water is available from Moongate Water, and wastewater will be provided by the city of Las Cruces. So, you know, and just to be clear on that, we do have a letter from the city of Las Cruces basically saying that if the applicant, you know, pays for it, then they're able to extend services, wastewater services, all the way to the subject parcel. And you know, there can be sufficient infrastructure capacity for the proposed use if those services are extended. No evidence of any endangered or rare species of animal and plant life in the area. The property is surrounded by you know, residential development with you know, lot sizes averaging between 0.75 and 1 acres. Zoning in the immediate area, as we saw on the zoning map, is D2. You know, there's City of Las Cruces limits surrounding that entire area. If approved, buffer, you know, landscaping, road improvements, fire, life safety, and building services requirements will have to be met during the building permitting phase. And then applicant will implement those BMPs that are identified, noted, and included on any reviews and conditions required for the zone change and the building permit. As noted by other agency comments, the applicant will need to submit a grading and drainage plan for some of the grading and fill that was done on the property with no permits. And we kind of saw a picture of that already. For the comprehensive plan, you know, we do acknowledge that the proposed development could be in conformance with some of the goals in the comp plan. You know, we have goal 4.1, which is to provide marketable and affordable housing. There's other action items, you know, that promote additional housing units. However, you know, the proposed zone change to this, you know, high-density residential zone does not complement, you know, the surrounding low-density residential and goals such as G2.2 and A2.2. We looked at the zoning map, and you know, we know that it's all D2. This would be the only D3 zoning designation, you know, in that entire neighborhood. When it comes to a sufficient change of conditions under Miller, the city of Las Cruces, you know, they have provided a letter of availability, you know, for the extension of sewer and gas to the subject parcel. But the zone change in itself, it's not intended to cover and perfect the previous defective ordinance or to correct the mistake or injustice therein. If the zone change is denied, the applicant can still use the property as allowed under D2 zone. So he can still build a duplex on that property, but just not 3 of them. So by right, he can still have a duplex or have two dwellings on the property.
Excuse me, Albert, how many dwellings on a D2 zone?
2 or 1 duplex.
Okay.
2 separate homes or 1 duplex.
All right, thank you.
County staff and the City of Las Cruces Community Development Department, we do believe that the zone change is a spot zone because you know, that's what the City of Las Cruces is planning. You know, that they included that in their comments when reviewing this request. We believe that it's not in harmony with the surrounding low-density residential areas, and you know, it's not going to be a benefit to the community by allowing 3 duplexes or 6 dwellings. This is going to be for the benefit of the property owner. Our staff findings, they're included in your packet, but basically, staff is stating that the request to D3, it's not going to satisfy, the decisional criteria under 203D, that it's not appropriate and reasonably necessary to protect the public interest, that it's not intended to cover and perfect the previous defective ordinance or to correct a mistake or injustice therein. It would be considered a spot zone, and that it is in conflict with the, with the comprehensive plan. So we are recommending denial of case Z24-004 to go from D2 to D3 on a 1 acre parcel for the construction of 3 duplexes. So that's the end of my presentation. We do stand for questions, and the property owner is here present.
Okay, any questions of staff, commissioners? Thank you, Albert. Well, wait a minute. Is that considered a flood zone, that area?
Chair, I don't see that comment here from Flood, but Flood is requesting an engineered grading and drainage plan because of all the, the dirt work that happened on there. So I'm not entirely sure if it's in a flood zone or not, but they will require a grading and drainage plan.
All right, okay, thank you. Any questions of staff? All right, is the petitioner here, Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Please step forward. You've already been sworn in, okay?
Chair, the applicant does have a PowerPoint. I'm just going to go give it to IT real quick.
Morning, guys.
How are you?
Just we'll wait for that.
Okay.
It's a short presentation. We'll be done out of here. Mr. Albert, just to sit down. Okay, so as Albert explained, I just wanted to go over my plans, and after, if you
Step
guys,
forward to the mic.
if you guys have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to explain on, what my plans are for this property. I'm gonna go into the next slideshow here. This is basically the rendering of the front elevation of what the duplex would look like. It consists of 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, living room, kitchen, laundry room, small front and back patio of each one. It'll be just a 1-car garage, and then 1 other car can park in the driveway. With the setbacks and everything, you're looking at a small backyard, or pretty decent size of 35 by 50 backyard. Each duplex or each home will be about 1,500 square feet. And then you can see also the floor plan of what it would look like. Again, this is the site plan of what, oh, you know what? It actually turned it for some reason. the city of Las Cruces was recommending to go basically on the south side of the lot. And then where you see that blue arrow, that would be where Jornada Road is. And then that's basically where they're recommending us to, tie into the manhole and get rid of all the sewer and all that stuff there. This is a map of, the surrounding houses and everything. To the north, where you see that number 4, there is a property that has 4 dwellings on there. This is an old subdivision, so in the good old days, I guess they were allowed to do more stuff than not today. South of there, there's that other property that has 3 dwellings there. So it's located right in between those two. I understand that, the zone change on paper will look different. However, I personally, in my opinion, it won't be so much different up to what it is now. We're going to be adding basically three large dwellings on there, and all of them are to meet the setbacks of what we've discussed with the county. Here's the zoning differences, going from D2 to D3, medium density to high density. I guess they both do allow for the 2 homes of what it is now. For what we're trying to do, our best scenario would be to rezone to D3 rather than doing a split. The other option that we have is splitting the lot into 3, but then that would create, more work for the county and more coordination. Rezoning to D3 would be the most direct approach to what we are planning to do with this property. Under close review, we've come to the conclusion that allowing for a zone change is a more direct approach for our plans. Although we can divide into 3 smaller lots and still accomplish the same goal, the zone change would allow for more organized development. An extension of the main water line on Benavides has been put in with water on site. We have also provided the county with the road analysis when we did the split, and we have the required 50 road and utility easement. We ask that you can take into consideration that the fact that the city of Las Cruces is on board and allows us full access to city sewer and gas. And then here's the attached letter of availability from the city of Las Cruces. You guys have any questions for me?
Well, can you go back one previous page before this one?
Sure.
One forward again. Right there. As you well know, that sewer dictates development. And then the amenities that the city has to offer is one side of the ledger. The other side of the ledger is zoning and compatibility with the existing people that are there, right?
Correct.
So that's fine. However, we have to follow zoning ordinances, all right? So we'll take it from there here in a few minutes. Any questions of Mr. Vasquez? No questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Anybody signed up for or
I have one individual, Deidre Rudat.
Chair, real quick, before we take public input, if the interpreter can also just make a statement that anybody who wants to speak in favor or against this request, if they're in Spanish, then they can also come up here.
okay.
So just if Jasmine could just make that statement, that if anybody wishes to make a comment in Spanish, they can also come up here.
I couldn't go here.
Good morning.
Too
Please
far
state
to
your
read.
name and address for the record.
Dietrich Rudot, 6870 North Jornada Road.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Good morning.
And your last name again, please?
Rudot. Rudot.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes. It's a weird German name.
You know what happens when you get younger, right? You can't hear very well.
I'm here because I'm one of the neighbors in that area. And beautiful, we'd love to have that land developed. It'd be wonderful. But 2 homes maximum is what we're asking, because we all, in good faith, purchased acre lots so we can have the beautiful space and openness that everyone enjoys there. Everyone loves the open space, and that was one of the biggest complaints. We had 17 people in that neighborhood sign a petition that did not want it, and I realized apparently there was just a smaller segment that was asked, in the zone to be counted, but there were 17 different families of homes, and most every lot there is an acre lot with 1 or 2 homes. There's 2 exclusions with people that had their homes there probably, 25 years. So they had a few more homes. But there's just 2 places that he did point out. But the biggest, concern is again, would love to see the property developed, for sure. And just, but 6 is a lot. That's 30 people in an acre, where our homes are, a family per acre, basically, is what you're seeing. And it's, I think that's the biggest thing. There were some questions when we first bought the land a couple years ago. We were told there was going to be 1 home across the street, and they had built a bunch of land, like 3 foot of soil up. And so that has been really changed to make way for this home that's going on there over time. So I don't know if that seemed a concern to everyone. And some of the people in the area also have kind of lost trust with the owner of that land because of putting things there and doing things that are business oriented instead of residential. The gentleman's father-in-law has the property directly behind him, and there's piles and piles of dirt and trucks coming at 6 in the morning, and it's a business, and it's not supposed to be a business. So there's a lack of trust, I think, that's happened with the neighbors as well, to see the land not being used as residential. And so there's been kind of a concern, but that's our biggest concern, is that, those 50 acres or whatever of county that is still there and surrounded by city, which there are tons of homes going in. There's no lack of homes or apartments or anything in that area. So that is our request, is that, we keep the zoning as in good faith, that we all purchased our homes to have that space around us. I don't know if you have any other questions about that.
Any questions, Ms. Rudolph? Commissioners? No questions? All right. Thank you so much. So,
Thank you.
thank you. Albert, do we need any translation services for anybody else in the gallery?
Not for this case.
Not now?
No, not for this case.
All right, okay. All right, anybody else in the gallery for or in favor or not in favor of this case?
No, sir.
Nobody? Okay, all right. Albert, could you go back to the zoning map on it?
Thank you, Will.
That, on that D2, right? The letters of opposition I see here are right across the, I guess, to the east side of Jornada Road, am I correct?
Yes, like it was stated before by the surrounding property neighbor. 21 letters were sent out, and then there was a petition submitted with many signatures on it. But what I was trying to depict on here was that, what the code calls out for is, for properties within 100 feet, you know, that would trigger the two-thirds rule. Yes, I mean, there were more letters in opposition than 4, you know, there were about 17, I believe. But it's these 4 right here that are the ones that are triggering the two-thirds vote. So on here, I mean, 5, 7, 11, and 12 were some of the ones that submitted, but there were others that were not within 100 feet that are not being depicted on here.
Okay, any questions of staff, commissioners? Thank you, Albert. Please come forward.
So on that drawing that had the circles, because there we go. The inner circle or the outer circle is what you're counting?
The 100 feet. So
I don't know what's 100 feet.
yeah,
The small circle or the?
Small circle.
Okay. Okay, so you just barely missed the other one, so there's. Okay, well, I show, oh, I see what you're saying, the small circle.
But on your packet, I mean, you have.
Yeah,
you
there's
have-
quite a few.
You have the
Okay,
petition. You have the
all
full
right.
petition.
It's just outside of that, everyone's a no, yeah.
Okay, anybody else out there in the gallery for or against this case? All right, I'm going to close it to the gallery. Commissioners, any discussion? No? Commissioner Montanez? No? Okay. Chair entertains a motion.
Chair, I'll make the motion to approve case Z24-004, zone change from D2 to D3 in order to construct 3 duplexes.
And that's based on the findings of fact, right?
Yes, based on finding facts from the staff.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Lair.
Second.
Yes,
Second.
say, we have a motion on the floor.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Albert, would a D2L allow for a third unit?
If I recall correctly, there is an option for what would be called like an accessory dwelling as well. And in the code, it is at 800 square feet, so it's like really, really, really small.
Okay.
But by right, under D2L or D2, you can have the 2 homes already. And then there's no square footage maximum size associated with that. It's just, you know, unless there's like a restriction on a septic tank or something like that, or there's an issue with septic or ground coverage, but, you know, if they got enough property, then they can have two dwellings.
All right, thank you.
Did you get your answer, Commissioner? Okay. All right, we have a motion. We do have a motion, right? And it was second, correct? Any discussion on the motion? No discussion on the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Montañez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lear,
No.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
Commissioner Zarges,
No.
Chair Acosta,
No. So we had how many yeses?
2,
How many noes?
3.
Go ahead, Albert.
Just for the record, the zone change is denied.
All right. Commissioner Zargas, on a no vote?
In the, number one, I think, from the applicant's own statement, he has other options on that piece of property. And that's why I voted no on the zone change, because I don't feel the zone change is appropriate in that area.
Okay, Commissioner Lear?
I voted no for, based on staff findings, both the fact that they designated this as spot zoning and also that it was not in harmony with the surrounding residential area.
Okay, and I'm in agreement with findings of fact with, on land use ordinance. It just appears that it's not in the best interest of the neighbors next door. And not only that, it just doesn't meet all the criteria for a D3 high-density residential zoning. Albert? Okay. I gotta get all this paperwork in order here. Hold on a second. All right. All right. Case number, you ready for that one? Case number Z24006. Is the property owner here, Robert?
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Albert Casillas, 845 North Motel Boulevard.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
The property owner's here?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay.
And once again, does anybody need a break or we're good to go? Good to go, right?
Sure, we can take a 5-minute break. We're gonna wait till Janine gets back. Ready? Okay. Apologize for the wait. You ready, Albert, for case number Z 24-006?
Yes, sir. All right, so for our third case today, under item 5B, Z24006, we do have Mr. Ogwe requesting a zone change on his property that's address off of Weisner Road, 6385 Weisner Road. Current zoning is a C1 designation. It's a 2.32 acre parcel. And he's requesting to go from a C1 to an I1 zoning district in order to allow a storage and distribution facility, which would include warehousing and shipping of merchandise and the parking of 3 non-CDL box trucks. This is the location map of the property. We can see it's not that far off from Highway 70. This is Weisner Road and Rhonda Lane right here, and that's basically where the subject parcel is at. And this is a 2018 aerial of the property. We have Rhonda Lane right here, which is it's a private easement, and then we have Weisner Road, which is a county maintained right of way. And when we look at the zoning map, we do see that there is some D2 designations surrounding the property, but right immediately south of this, we have a C2 zoning designation. And then the subject parcel is zoned for C1. And then, of course, along Highway 70 and Baton Memorial, there's other commercial and industrial uses. So prior, when this was still part of the, of the ETZ, this property had that EC1 designation, which was intended to accommodate limited retail and service establishments as a convenience to nearby residential neighborhoods. And then when the UDC, became official, then it ended up getting that C1 designation. So under the C1, we know that it's neighborhood commercial activities, small scale, freestanding businesses. The property currently has a non-residential assessment by the county assessor's office. We do have water from Moongate, and any wastewater could be handled by an approved septic tank. Rhonda Lane is a 50-foot private right-of-way, and Weisner Road is a paved county road. The request for I-1 zoning district, that's the request that the applicant submitted for an I-1. When we look at the matrix, we can see that warehousing is one of the uses that's allowed on there. But later on, we were reviewing the matrix, and then under the matrix, we determined that a more appropriate designation for this proposal would have been a storage and distribution facility. It's more aligned on what the applicant's wanting to do for his property. So under the C2 community commercial zone, storage and distribution facility is allowed use. So today, basically what staff is asking for, it's to go from the C1 designation to a C2 instead of an I1, which is what the property owner originally requested. So C2 would be a less intense use than the I1. So I just wanted to clarify that. So under the applicant's narrative, he's stating that his business plan is for e-commerce, storage, and space. His company IWC, it's an online retail store. There's no physical storefront at the location, And it's basically for electronic accessories, auto parts, accessories, and general merchandise. He is proposing to build a storage building which will be used for order fulfillment services, which includes storage, picking, packing, shipping, and product return operations. IWC Logistics also will operate using a 26-foot non-CDL box trucks. The trucks and other small logistics equipment are usually over the road across all 50 states for months. But when the drivers are back in town for their breaks, the trucks and the equipment will be stored inside the property. This is coming from the applicant's narrative right here. That's his scope of business. And when we look at the proposed site
Albert.
plan that was submitted by the applicant, of course, we see Weisner Road here on the right, on the north, that's
Albert.
Rhonda Lane.
Can you go back one slide?
Yes.
The location, I mean, what are they gonna store there again?
So they basically want to have, there are 3 trucks that they use to ship merchandise. And they're also proposing to add another building where they're going to be storing the merchandise and packaging and shipping it out of there.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. You said another building, in addition to what's shown on the plan? Or is that building included in that drawing?
No, so this, right here on this slide, we're depicting a proposed 50 by 100 building.
Okay, so that's the building you're talking about they're going to add?
Yes.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then on the aerials, I mean, on the next couple slides, I'll show pictures of what's existing on the property. So here we have an aerial of the surrounding area. This would be Weisner right here. We have Highway and 70 and Baton Memorial, and this would be Rhonda Lane. So here I'm looking south on Weisner Road, and this is Rhonda. So this is the intersection of Rhonda Lane and Weisner Road. We have this would be the subject parcel right here on the right. And here I'm looking north on Weisner Road. And then here I'm looking west. So this would be the entrance here of Rhonda Lane. And from one of the gates, I'm looking back towards Weisner Road. So here's another view of the subject parcel. There is an existing canopy, and that's the existing fence. The whole property is fenced in. And that's one of the canopies that's there. He's got some storage containers on site. And this is just me peeking into the property from under the gate because it was locked. But we can see that there's a couple of vehicles that are being stored on site. That's the canopy, and he's got some containers on site. So for zone change, of course, we got to look at 203D for the decisional criteria. That's the area of notification that properties that were notified for this request. 23 letters were sent out. There was one email in opposition, which is included in your packet. So when we're looking at a D1, there is no homes being proposed for this request. The applicant's facility will be for the storage and shipping of merchandise. Its population's not it's not applicable. It's for commercial use. There's no impact to demographics. So, when we look at the potential traffic flows, according to the applicant, he's only using 3 non-CDL box trucks to use for the shipping of that merchandise. The main access to the property will have to be from Rhonda Lane. No access is going to be allowed from Weisner Road. And you can see those under engineering's comments. So there will have to be some road improvements on Rhonda Lane. The zone change will allow the applicant to operate a storage and shipping facility. There's also, water being available from Moongate, wastewater handled by a septic tank, and there is sufficient infrastructure capacity for the proposed use. Like I said before, road improvements will be required, and at the time of a building permitting phase, he will have to meet all the fire code and fire suppression requirements. No evidence submitted of any endangered or rare species. The property is surrounded by residential development. However, the property immediately south of this subject parcel is zoned C2. And back in '04, that property, immediately south of this, they also applied for a zone change from C1 to C2. And that was for a towing service and impound yard. If the proposed use is approved, then of course, buffer landscaping will be required, road improvements per engineering, and all other applicable fire, life, and safety codes will also have to be met. And applicant will implement any best management practices that are identified, noted, and included in the reviews and conditions for the zone change and during the building permitting application. So we do believe that the request from a C1 to a C2 meets this decisional criteria under D1. Staff believes that the proposed development is not going to be in conflict with the comp plan. The proposed zone change to a C2 will complement surrounding residential areas and goals such as G2.2 and actions under A2.2 as well. There's other sections in here that support regional small-scale businesses. So those are the goals that are outlined on here, G2.2 and A2.2. And of course, the goal G6.7, which talks about the supporting small-scale businesses and keeping money from leaking out of the county under G6.10. And like I said before, under a change of conditions, this is not, right immediately south of this, we had that property that did get a zone change similar to what's being requested today. It went from C1 to C2. We wouldn't consider this a spot zone. I mean, the property is already a C1 designation. There is a C2 immediately south of this, and it will be a benefit to the community by promoting economic growth and job creation. So under our findings, we do believe that it meets the decisional criteria under D1. We do believe that it wouldn't be a spot zone, being that there's a C2 right immediately south of the subject parcel, and that it does meet the goals of the comprehensive plan under goal G2.2, A2.2, G6.6, and G6.10. We are recommending conditional approval of this case for Z24006. And this is, once again, to go from a C1 to a C2. And this is in order to allow warehousing and shipping of merchandise from this property. We do have some conditions on this request, that the access to the property will be limited to Rhonda Lane, and it will have to be improved. That the applicant shall submit a detailed site plan for review and shall be prepared by a professional engineer, architect, or surveyor licensed in the state of New Mexico during the building permitting phase. All structures, alterations to existing buildings and future buildings will require a building permit and must be applied for and approved through the Doña County Community Development Department and Building Services. And that a buffer class 3 shall be required along the west property line. That's just one of the examples that we have in our code for a buffer type 3. But those are the recommendations that staff has for a conditional approval for this case. And once again, it's from C1 to a C2 zoning designation. So that's the end of our presentation. The applicant is here, and then as well as members of the public that want to give their input on this request. And with that, that's the end of our presentation.
Okay, Albert, thank you. Any questions of staff? No. Thank you. Is Mr. Obey here? Please step forward. We're gonna
Good
swear you.
morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Raise your right hand.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Good school, boy, 440 Funny Land.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I have a question for you. What, because we have a letter of opposition on all those cars that you have there. The request that you had was for storage of the vehicles when they get off the road. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
For the
so
trucks.
what are those cars doing there?
Those are temporarily stored there. Most of those cars are actually exported.
Step forward to the mic, we can hear you.
So those are temporarily stored there. Most of those cars are actually exported to Houston, to another warehouse in Houston, and they take them to Galveston, Texas for export. So most of them are brought in from different auctions, from Albuquerque, Phoenix, Tucson, but they are temporarily stored there, and all the drivers come there, pick them up, and take them to the port.
Because it did mention there was an impound lot, storage for impound?
That was my neighbor. He said that I applied for a zone change in 2004, not my property.
And are there any hazardous chemicals, materials that are in those vehicles? Gasoline, oil, whatever?
No, sir. You mean on the vehicles before they're exported?
Well, in the vehicles that are stored there?
Yes, they just came the same way they came from the auction. So some of them do have just like the oil in the car that is in the engine in the car and gasoline, then they also go out the same way.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and proceed. And Albert, is that a D2 zone or a D2L?
The existing zoning on, well, the surrounding zoning, it's D2 and D2L to the east of the property. The existing zone of the property, it's currently C1, and the property south of it, it's already a C2 designation.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to clarify also, just as he mentioned in the presentation, there's no intention of having a storefront at the location, so that would not impact any traffic that is currently ongoing there right now. And non-CDL trucks, they're just like the smaller Penske trucks that you rent and the U-Hauls. They are not semi-trucks. So I don't see any, I don't think they will significantly impact the traffic or the conditions out there at the moment as well. And originally I had applied for I-1 because that was the recommendation that I was given to get the permit for the storage building. But if C2 will also work as long as that also gives me the permits for the building.
And staff recommended opaque fencing or the existing fencing that you have on the west side?
I currently have a metal fence around there. Not entirely sure what that means, but I can get with the engineer that is helping with the drawing and the planning and everything, and I'm sure he's aware of what that means.
Any questions of Mr. Obey, staff? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
In the audience, anybody for
have-
or against this case? Please step forward. Did you sign in, by the way? Yes, sir. Okay, please step forward.
Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Robert Fike, 6405 Wagons East Trail.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Sammy, thank you. Before I say anything, I just want to make sure that we're talking about this going to the light industrial or to the C2? It's going to be C2, so it's not light industrial anymore.
That's correct.
Okay.
And just to restate, after we looked at the matrix, C2 did allow for shipping and receiving facility.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was tracking the right thing. All right, my wife, we've already submitted an email. She sent it in opposition. One of the few things I wanted to bring up is the access into that property. Yes, it is probably technically on Rhonda. However, vehicles will be on Wisner to turn left to come in to that property. So it's cutting a corner. Once again, we're just want to maintain the residential aspect of that area. I'm directly to the east of the property, and we just want to. We bought this land, back in 2008. We're the first owners there. It was what it was when we bought it. We accepted that. We want to keep everything pretty much as it was there for the usage. We just like to make sure, or we're concerned about the vehicular traffic there. We're concerned about noise and any other activities that will be detrimental to the houses there in that area. Anyway, gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Any questions for me?
Any questions, Steph? No. Okay, thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
Please step forward. Oh, anybody else?
No, sir, not that
Oh,
signed
all
up.
right, Okay. Okay, we're going to close it to the gallery. Commissioners, any discussion? We have one letter of opposition. Any questions, commissioners? Any discussion? My concern was all those vehicles that are there, and the other one also is the fencing to secure safety for your vehicles coming in and out. And not only that, for being a good neighbor. So whatever we propose for requirements to continue with the case, are you willing to go along with it? All right, okay, thank you. And again, we have to address that issue on those vehicles, okay? Let's go back to that slide again, Albert. Okay. Surely that it's not visible from all three sides, but on the west side, it probably would be visible, am I correct? Well,
Can we have the applicant approach the podium, please?
what's that? Please step forward. It sure gives the appearance that it's not so much a storage yard for cars. It's not a salvage yard, is it?
No, it's not.
So you're not selling parts out of there?
No, I am not operating there as a salvage yard where people come in to pick parts or buy parts. No, sir.
And the question I have is, underneath that shed, what are those, wood crates?
Yes, sir. They're pallets.
For the sake of argument, is there any way that maybe you can massage that a little bit so it doesn't look, even though it's your property, we had concerns, or I had concerns about that. And those vehicles will never be moved from there, or?
No,
what's
they
gonna
will. They will.
They will be?
Most of those vehicles will be out of there.
And is there a time limit on that?
Although I do have a plan of cleaning up the place before even the building can be put in place, and most of those vehicles will be shipped out of there before the building can commence.
But you can't give us a timeline on that, though.
I don't have a specific timeline, but I would probably say in a couple of months.
Okay. And there's no chemicals or diesel fuel or anything that can spill in the ground there, right?
No, sir. None that is stored there, and I don't have, the only diesel vehicle that I have there, that's the yellow truck, which is the box truck that is.
Because we didn't have any comments on the fire marshal. And we certainly don't want to start any major fires there that would create liability for the people around you. That's also a concern. And I didn't see any comments from the fire marshal or Sean.
Chair, just to clarify, the comments from the fire marshal, they basically stated that they don't have any issues with the zone change, but anything that comes afterwards in the form of a building permit, they're gonna have to meet all fire safety codes.
Okay. Any comments from you, Sean?
No, sir, not at this time.
All right. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, commissioners, the chair entertains a motion based on findings of fact, and you can also add requirements to the west wall, other than just deciduous trees or whatever we have in our manuals. It just appears to me that if it would be in the same decor that is existing there around the property, I think it would eliminate a lot of, maybe control a bit of dust control and things of this nature. And maybe even prevent any fire in the event that there is a fire. Because there's a lot of desert there and a lot of brush that's existing there. So make sure that you include that into your motion.
I'll do it.
All right.
Based on the findings of fact, staff analysis, and comments, I'll move conditional approval of case Z 24-006, zone change from C1 to C2. Have a limit of, with the limits and the conditions as suggested by staff, including any cleanup and necessary fencing, and to make the property, how do you want to phrase it, acceptable to site for neighbors, et cetera.
Okay.
So I pick all your stuff in.
Does everybody understand? Well, do you have a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion? Commissioners? Okay, no discussion on the motion. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lear,
Yes.
Commissioner Montañez,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
Commissioner Zarges,
Yes,
Chair Acosta.
Yes. Okay, concur with staff when you had an opportunity before you leave to see what other requirements that they're going to ask of you, okay? Thank you, Mr. Oboy. Thank you. All right. Item number 6, administrative approvals, Janine.
Chair, we have no administrative approvals today.
Whoa. What are y'all doing out there? Just kidding.
All right, staff input.
I believe Christina has some staff input. I thought we did them last session, right? Okay, yeah. We do them once every month.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to take this opportunity to thank Commissioners Zarges and Montañez for their service to the PNC. We really thank you for the time and commitment that you've given our staff and our county. And we've appreciated your expertise and your input. And so I have some nice certificates that Eileen put together with our new logo. And
Oh,
so
my, that's beautiful.
I will hand these to you now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And you're going to have a free pass to Palacios? or,
Yes.
You know, so, or the wineries, you know, we have. Wow, that's nice.
So again, thank you for your time, and you're always welcome here if you want to come in and just observe, or if you ever want to volunteer in the future, we would be happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll curse you and come back.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and commissioners, truly, from my perspective, you have been really instrumental in getting some of these cases to come forward, and with your expertise and knowledge and experience that you've been here with us for many, many months, actually years. Anyway, I truly am going to miss your expertise, and I wish you the best. And I'd like for you down the line to reconsider and come back. I know that we all have a lot of responsibilities on the community. We have a real estate broker, and we have a retired person to the right. But experience in some of these cases really is of utmost importance. And again, we're going to miss you, and reconsider.
Absolutely.
We would like to have you back on the board sometime soon, all right? And I was going to bring you a rose or something, but I was running late. Or get a cake or something, but we'll always see each other again and have some coffee and discuss true issues that impact our community.
Absolutely.
And absolutely, it's, we have to live here, and we have to make sure that that we keep the county going in a very positive, forward fashion. See, my thing has always been that we have a very, very good community as a county. It's a big county. We need to concentrate our efforts on water issues, road issues, many issues. And down south, as you well know, Commissioner Montañez and Zargas, we have a gold mine there. And we need to make sure that we have your input. So you're always welcome to come back and give us your perspective as to what you see out there and your opinion. We are going to truly miss you. And for the new commissioners coming in, we're going to have a lot of work sessions, to bear with us. We need to catch up quite a bit. And again, staff, thank you for all your knowledge and expertise that you have. Continue going to these. Please step forward. We have a distinguished.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Guest commissioner. Please. Step forward.
Commissioners, I just wanted to thank all of you for your service, and I know we'll be missing a couple of commissioners. Mr. Montañez, thank you so much for serving the county. I truly appreciate you and you taking my calls for questions as a Realtor. And thank you for your friendship. Mel, I'm glad you're staying on the board. Mr. Zargas, you're staying on the board. Mr. Lear, you're staying on the board.
I'm not.
Oh, you're not staying on the board. Okay, sorry about mistake. But I just wanted to thank you for your service to the county. And blessings, and please keep in touch.
We're all going to have a cup of coffee, not a quorum anymore, but we'll have coffee somewhere. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming.
Mr. Chair. I
Thank you
appreciate the
very
time.
much.
Have a good day.
And,
Bye-bye.
I do appreciate your vote on this last meeting we had. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. May I be
Thank you so
excused,
much.
Mr. Chair? May I be excused, Mr. Chair?
Yes, you may.
Thank
You tell them yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Commission input.
Well, you
Mr. Chair, I just would like to say, thanks to Steve and Bill for working with you. It's been sort of fun and definitely educational. So I appreciate your time and your expertise. We're going to miss you guys.
Yes.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yes.
Okay, all I can say is, let's see, it's been most of 12 years, off and on. I've seen changes of staff, changes in the directorate, and the one thing I can say is that people that I've had the pleasure of working with here, Sean, Christine, Janine, all of them, Albert, Chris, Charlene, Eileen, you guys are great, and you do a wonderful job, and you keep us in line, which is next to impossible anyway, and we do appreciate it, though. And thank you very much. And keep your fingers crossed that I don't decide to come back again.
Well, make sure you show up in your bicycle. Anyway,
This is fun. Mr. Chair, I had a whole speech written out here. Just kidding, I did not. I want to start by saying, Sean, I do probably speak to quite a few members of our building and development community here in the county, and if you haven't been told, and I'm sure it's come back to you, but anytime your name comes up since you've taken on your new role, it is always in a positive light. I have not heard any kind of negativity, really, unless I'm speaking to Janine. I'm just kidding. No, but really, I felt like I really wanted to say it on behalf of those who come to this office and pull the permits. And it's not just Sean. It really is. We do hear a lot of positive things about the county. Of course, a lot of mixed comments, but it has been in a positive light, and I've been really pleased just to kind of see the progress that has happened over the past few years, even since. I remember around the time that I got on this commission, I believe Christina was still getting accompanied to her, or getting accustomed to her new role as well. So it's been great to be part of that progress. There is that old saying, surrounding yourself with positive and great people, and the members of this commission have been, individually. Dan, I have a daughter who creates things, and it's so amazing. So I have a feeling I'm going to be seeing you a lot more at that council, because and so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Mel, I'm probably going to still see you at the market, and I do love our conversations. Bill, I hope to just run into you on my bike, not run into you, but maybe just high five you as we're passing by. And Commissioner Zernia, that man is so intelligent that sometimes I thought maybe just sitting by him, I would just kind of absorb some of that by osmosis, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. And Commissioner Jimenez, if I ever run into you, I've probably had a bad day, and I hope you got something good for me over there. But this is great. It's great to be, can I take this with me as like a souvenir, maybe? I'm just kidding. No, thank y'all very much. It's been great. The everything that we've, everything that I've learned from you, and everything, hopefully, I've made that contribution as well. And from the members of the public, it's always been great. There has been every once. I did receive an email one time accusing me of using this platform to somehow promote my real estate business, and all I can really say is you can go to www.newmexico.properties if you are. No, I'm just kidding. that is all. It has been amazing. It has been amazing. Thank you all very much for this opportunity. I want to say I'm going to miss y'all, but I'm going to be seeing you guys a lot. So with that, thank y'all very much.
Well, thank you much for your comments and your service, really. Commission input, now back to business again. Janine, on the new commissioners coming in, I think we need to have those work sessions that we discussed regarding zoning and the Albuquerque comments on which is, I'm sure that there's some parameters that we totally don't know about per se.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do have the new commissioner orientation already scheduled for the new commissioners, and that will be held on April 30th from 10 to 12:30 in our office conference room. And you are welcome to attend if you need a fresher.
So when are you going to crank out T-shirts, Albert, on spot zone? Huh?
We will one day learn what is
And the
and what
requirements of
isn't
spot zoning, you know? Anyway, that's another issue we need to address very carefully, okay? We don't want to go into any litigation. All right, item number 9. Adjournment. Chair entertains a motion for adjournment.
I'll make one last motion.
All
to
right.
Adjourn.
Adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I vote no. Just kidding.
All right. You have to give me an explanation as to why. I guess the ayes have it, right? All right. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank